Hello, welcome to Middle East in Depth, part of Levant TV's Press Reviews. Featured in Washington-based Al-Monitor, Ambassador Yuri Savir writes a piece looking at France's role during the talks on the Iranian Framework Agreement and over the potential statehood of Palestine. Savir's article starts reading, on the chessboard of the Lausanne negotiations on the Iranian nuclear agreement, France evolved as a surprisingly independent player. Compared with the other negotiating powers, French Foreign Minister Fabius espoused the toughest positions in relation to the timeline for lifting sanctions, the nature of inspections, and curtailing Iran's ability to continue nuclear research and development. The French, according to the article, have earned a reputation as the appeasing side in such negotiations, which emerged this time as the tough guy within the six world powers and the most proactive European player. French Foreign Ministry officials told Al-Monitor that the policy adopted by French President Francois Hollande and Fabius is related to the French strategic view on the future of the Middle East in transition, such as supporting Egyptian President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi's fight against the Muslim Brotherhood. Paris intends to assume a leading role in promoting a Security Council resolution in favor of Palestinian statehood, and the French hope to convince the American administration not to cast a veto on that resolution, but it seems that the United States has yet to decide on its next steps in the region due to the recent overwhelming focus on the Iranian issue. The article then concludes, France believes Israel will be reluctant to confront Israel at the same time on two diplomatic fronts. On the other hand, Israel acknowledged that the alternative to diplomatic progress on the Palestinian issue might be violence. For the moment, it seems that France is the only power focusing simultaneously on both the Iranian and the Palestinian issues. Moving on to America, where Liz Sly, Washington Post bureau chief in Beirut, writes a piece titled "New Misery in Yarmouk, Symbol of Syria's Suffering." For the past year, Sly writes, the camp of Yarmouk has stood as a stark symbol of the misery endured by civilians in Syria's raging war, after an iconic picture of its hungry residents waiting for food handouts was broadcast to the world from the New York Times Square. The camp's only hospital was destroyed, its doctors fled, and those injured in the bombings are going without medical treatment. Salim Salama, a former Yarmouk resident who heads the Palestinian League for Human Rights and speaks daily to people living in the camp, said already weakened by months of hunger, he fears that they will soon start to die of starvation. He says it's beyond a nightmare. Camp residents don't know which to fear most, hunger, bombings, or the Islamic State. The United Nations warned of a catastrophe unless food reaches the camp soon, and Sunday, two senior envoys charged with meeting Syrian government officials to negotiate humanitarian access for those trapped inside the camp. UN Secretary General Ban Ki-moon said last week, "We simply cannot stand by and watch a massacre unfold." He urged concerted international action to save Yarmouk residents. In the horror that is Syria, the Yarmouk refugee camp is the deepest circle of hell, he added. The writer then concludes Yarmouk is a microcosm of the complexity as well as the anguish of Syria's war, making solutions elusive. And while the US and its allies have rushed to offer military support to groups fighting the Islamic State elsewhere, Yarmouk presents challenges. But for the United Nations, the biggest concern is hunger. The agency estimates that camp residents are surviving on only 400 calories a day or less, he said, and conditions soon could become critical. That was it for today. For more updates, please visit Levant.tv. Or subscribe to Middle East in Depth on iTunes. Thanks for watching, and bye for now.